Hey everyone, this is Juicy here. Today I want to talk to you guys about Ethereum layer 2. And the reason why I want to talk to you guys about Ethereum layer 2 is because I am very bullish, as well as I firmly believe that layer 2 will dramatically help and increase Ethereum, as well as a lot of other related Ethereum projects such as NFTs, the metaverse, and all that jazz. And the reason why layer 2 is so important is because layer 2 essentially will improve Ethereum, because layer 2, when it comes to the Ethereum blockchain, there's a limited amount of transactions each blockchain can perform. And that's the reason why, the Ethereum gas fees are so high, because there's this demand for all of these transactions, whether that's coming from, OpenSea with the NFTs, as well as all these projects, people moving money. They are pretty much bidding in order to get their transactions, put in place within the blockchain or into the next blockchain. So layer 2 is there to help scale that, have all that transaction and information, smart contracts, and data into a side chain, or another protocol that will, take that data and help when it comes to, performing all those actions, not within Ethereum layer 1, while it does it in another chain or protocol. Now, there is a caveat to this, right? The only way that Ethereum gas fees will decrease, as well as Ethereum will improve, is if developers that are on Ethereum use these layer 2 services. If developers continue to use layer 1, then there will be no improvements. And if you guys don't know, a lot of the layer 2 projects and protocols are already kind of available, and there are more currently being developed or currently being released, like Immutable X. Here's some, Arbitrum, Optimism, Boba, Fuel. So these are like pretty much like the ones that the Ethereum website has posted, and this is what you see right now. But there's also, ZK rollups, ZK syncs. With ZK rollups and ZK syncs, there is a rumor, that there's going to be airdrops, because currently right now, ZK rollups or ZK syncs, wants to get a big and large user base. So you can look it up on YouTube. There's a lot of people, discussing and showcasing, how to get the potential airdrops. Keep in mind that, all those YouTubers are really covering all the bases on what you can currently do with ZK rollups and ZK sync. However, there is no definitive way to be guaranteed to get the airdrop. So definitely take everything with a grain of salt. I do recommend doing some research. If you want to do it, go right ahead. But that's really up to you. Now, I particularly want to talk to you guys about my experience with using layer 2, particularly with Arbitrum. Now, Arbitrum is already available. There are a few projects already being integrated, so it's actually very hopeful when it comes to Arbitrum. Now, what you can see here is currently the trading volume for Arbitrum is fairly large compared to all the other competitors. That's not saying that Arbitrum is going to be the predominant, layer 2 protocol. It's just when it first got released, there was a huge flux of people putting money into Arbitrum for several reasons, and I will go over that, because I too at the time was a degen and kind of put my money in the projects that were interesting at the time, and I'll definitely go over to it. But one thing I want to showcase to you guys is kind of their website. It gives you a good, sense of the type of, projects, investors that are currently on it, and it should give you a good idea of, okay, like these are the type of projects, and you can see, the level of expectation you should see when it comes to, I guess, what you should be expecting. So there's a lot of projects already being built within Arbitrum, and here are good examples, right? So you got 1inch, you got Aave, so very well known, known projects out there. And like I said before, the only way to improve Ethereum is to use a layer 2 to perform all of the transactions within a side chain or chain that will help alleviate, the transactions and the information being pushed into the layer 1. Now, I want to talk to you guys about my experience with Arbitrum. So when Arbitrum was released, there was this huge craze with Arbitrum. Now, if you guys don't know what this is they were having ridiculous trading volumes, like 1.5 billion, on September 11th, right? And people were literally throwing money in here because the rate of return for staking or buying Nyan, as well as doing liquidity pools, were very, I guess you can say, lucrative, and the price continued to rise, and it only made sense at the time, right, for you to profit. Now, this was a huge, I would say, a rug pull personally, just because of the current price it is, compared to the current price it was. So I'll be honest with you, I got in when it was around $7, right? So I put in a certain amount of Ethereum when it was, and I purchased, Nyan, and I staked it, and then the following day it decreased and it kept on dropping, and I was so shocked and so sad and disappointed that I made this huge mistake of staking into a project that was all hype, that didn't really have any, concrete roadmap. I was in their Discord channel just lurking around and stalking it, and there were all these memes coming about. The head developer, people were speculating that he was like dead, or like this was a rug pull, and things like that. Now, fortunately, he's still alive. He made a mistake where he was very ambitious and he thought he can do this. However, he needed help with like a web developer, and they kind of rebranded, and I think it's now called ZipZap from my understanding, right? So there's a new DEX that he created. Now, there are hopes, that this will eventually use the Arbitrum, or you'll get rewarded with the Arbitrum. And keep in mind, when this huge wave and hype of Arbitrum came about, there was another project called RB Finance. Now, RB Finance pretty much used the hype train of Arbitrum, with the nice APYs, and then, with the staking. And what they did was, okay, if you staked it within RB Finance, you would get compound interest back. So it was, very lucrative. You can see right now, I staked this amount and I'm gonna get like almost like, I don't know, like 5 times more, right? 6 times more. if I withdraw, right? So like, but keep in mind that RB9 is worth zilch. It's worth nothing. I bought it when it was $7, and now it's worth like 0.0013, right? Just to show you guys, this is my experience with Arbitrum with RB9, right? I put in 10k worth of Ethereum, which is valued at 32k at 3400, right? I bought it $7.32. Now it's worth 0.0013. And then when I removed my liquidity pool, I got this amount of RB9 back, and I got this amount of Ethereum back. So I was very, very disappointed with what I did because I did not research enough, and I just rode the wave. I was stupid. I was very bullish. I was having fun. I felt that I was missing out, and I wanted to be part of it. As you can see with this article, right? Like, it was around this time when I found out about it, and I was like, man, this is going to moon, and unfortunately it didn't. So I definitely want to showcase my experience and for you guys to learn from my experience on this, because this was all hype. This was a rug pull. I definitely learned my lesson on this because I did not do a lot of research. I didn't really see a roadmap for this project. Nothing was guaranteed. The developer or the head brains behind this, he was very responsive, but when he started to work on the decks that he promised, he just became unresponsive, and hence people thought he was dead, or people thought something happened to him. There was a lot of that. So, I lost a lot of money from this, and it's definitely a lesson for me. So, take it with a grain of salt when I say, don't believe all the hype, and definitely do your research. That is something I cannot stress enough. So all I can do now is I have still some holdings. I'm just going to keep it there because they're literally worth nothing, and I'm just continuing to get compound and staked interest for this. So, it's just going to stay there, and I'm hoping, right, that things improve. Maybe the project gets picked up. Maybe there's more hype around it, because I'm still very bullish when it comes to layer 2 Ethereum. For all the reasons I said before. I think this was one project where it became very unfortunate because even though there was large trading volumes, there wasn't anything else behind it to back it up. And now it's kind of a little bit too late, because with this, having almost little value, it becomes very difficult for, let's say, developers or people to really trust or know, like, okay, like, could we really use this token, which doesn't provide any utility besides its potential DEX, to do anything. So that's something you have to think about. Now I want to talk to you guys about another project that I did a lot of research on, and I was super bullish and super confident that this would be a game changer when it came to layer 2 Ethereum. Now, that would be GMX. Now, if you guys don't know what GMX is, it is a decentralized
perpetual
exchange. Now, what that means is very similar to future contracts like the stock market. So you're projecting, right, that a certain value for the cryptocurrencies will be at a certain time. Now, depending on if you're right or wrong, you will profit tremendously based on the leverage that you performed. Now, if you are wrong, then you will lose that money, and other people who betted against or for your contract will benefit from those. So, very similar to future contracts. I definitely recommend you take some time to research more. And this is their website, gmx.io. They're getting a lot of traction. There's a lot of trading volumes. They recently connected into Avalanche, which is a very nice thing to see. But I cannot stress enough that when I discovered this project, I researched the hell out of it. I went into their Discord. I started to get to better understanding. I even went back to even trying to understand what decentralized perpetual exchange were, and that's when I started to learn. Okay, this is very similar to future contracts. When people long and short, let's say like a certain stock. It's very similar, but it's just this is mainly for cryptocurrencies. Now, for me, since I was so bullish, I decided to stake on this as well. Now, what you see here is the current price of the GMX token. And you can see that I bought in, I wouldn't say super early, but I bought in pretty good, right? And this is currently the current value of my rewards, which is pretty decent. But I kind of want to go into more detail just to explain, how much and how good this project has become. So, this is my Arbitrum. Here's my GMX, right? So I put also 10K worth or 10 Ethereum worth, which is 32,000 of USD. Now, when I staked it, that got converted into GMX. And then from there, what I tend to do almost every month is I review from the GMX portal, the values, and then I compound it back into GMX or escrow GMX, as well as I receive some Ethereum. So these are kind of the dates I have just for me to track, So I think for this one, when I did the one January 6th, this was a calculation at the time of how much I was receiving per day. So I was at that time receiving $35.55 of escrow GMX, and I was also of 35.0012, which is equivalent to $35.55 of Ethereum, and I was receiving 4.38.44 of the escrow GMX, which is worth at the time $118.87. Now, I will say that the price of GMX does kind of fluctuate. I've seen it go from like 25 initially, and I was like super happy. And then I've seen it go back down to $17. I've seen it go up to $30. I've seen it go up to $40. I think the highest I've seen it is $60 or $64. And I think even 2 or 3 days ago, I saw this at $58. So the price does fluctuate. It is very volatile, but I am still bullish on it just because the amount of people leveraging trading within GMX is astonishing. It's very high. And that is the reason why I'm bullish, because there are so many people using it. People are still, leverage trading, and that's the reason why I am very confident when it comes to, putting my money into GMX. Now, this is not financial advice, right? I'm just trying to give you a life lesson of an example of me riding the hype train with Arbitrum, and then me doing my extensive research and finding, that gem, that juicy crypto, which is GMX. Now, these are more records, right? Currently, I have it where it's worth 95K. You can see here right now it's worth 101K. Right? So these are things that I recorded yesterday at the time when I was doing some calculations. So this is me doing a snapshot yesterday and comparing it today. And the difference now is that I've made 0.009 Ethereum, which is worth $20.94. And this is based on the Ethereum price. And I've also received 0.8799 of escrow GMX, which is worth $99.85, right? So if I'm going to average this, I'm pretty much making, actually, you know what? Let's just say I'm just making $20.94 and $99.85 a day, right? So total will be like 100, these two, $120 easily, right? And that's every day. That's pretty good. That's amazing, actually, right? So because of this, I've learned a very valuable lesson on when it comes to research and when it comes to not riding the hype train, right? This here you can see is how much US dollars worth of Arbitrum I have, and this is from yesterday, but this is how much of GMX value I have, which is a total of this, and this is how much I put in. So I've technically gotten a 102% return on my value, and you can clearly tell which one is the gem, right? So take this from a life lesson, and I hope this is very valuable. This is not financial advice to be putting your money in GMX. I just want to stress that you guys need to do your research. Never follow blindly for anything, especially when it comes to cryptocurrencies. Cryptocurrencies are decentralized, and when it comes to decentralization, it's like the Wild Wild West, and you need to do your research. So definitely use influencers as guidance, but when it comes to where you should put your money, that is when you should really be serious on what you should do, right? I put in 10 ETH for both of these projects. One was me just being a degen and not really doing my research, and I basically lost it all. And one is where I was so confident with what I found. I knew that this project would be amazing, right? Another thing too is when it comes to these
perpetual
exchanges, they're usually backed by venture capitalists. This one was not. This was purely focused on being decentralized, and I am a huge believer when it comes to decentralization, and the fact that this was going to be a decentralized
perpetual
exchange made it much more enticing and much more favorable to my liking because of what I firmly believed in. And I believe in the fundamentals. I believe in the value of things being decentralized, and I believe that if you're the pioneer when it comes to things within the cryptocurrency space, they tend to last longer because they are the original ones, right? I'm not saying that GMX will be the best one. Maybe there might be a better thing later down in the future, but who knows, right? But currently right now, GMX is killing it, right? They are the first ones. They are improving their code. They are being interoperable with other protocols and sidechains such as Avalanche, right? They have a amazing roadmap. If you go into their Discord, they're very active. They provided NFTs, the Blueberry NFTs. there's been so many amazing things that are happening with GMX that like I cannot foresee this project, being pulled or rugged, right? It may be possible later down the road that there might be an exploit or a bug in the code, right? That is always the case, and that can happen to any project. But as of now, I'm a huge believer with GMX. I am going to continue to hold my GMX tokens, but that doesn't mean I'm going to put more. I like to diversify, and I'm definitely going to look at other layer 2 Ethereum projects, and that is something I wish you guys to do your research on. Now, if you guys have a layer 2 Ethereum project, feel free to comment. Let me know which ones. I am more than happy to do my research. Hopefully, if I find something too, I can give you guys feedback or provide you with a comment based on that. So yeah, I appreciate you guys listening. I know this is kind of like a banter in me, like being like, oh, huge GMX fan, blah 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 blah. But I really hope you guys take a lesson to heart. Don't ride the hype. Always do your research. Don't be like me and be like a degenerate and then put in money without any context. Thank you guys for listening. Like, follow, subscribe. Please comment. We'll love feedback. We'll love any suggestions, as well as your thoughts on any layer 2 projects. I do also like to stream video games on Twitch, so I'll put that in the description as well. I will also provide a lot of the sites that I showcase here, the Arbitrum, the Arby's Finance, the GMX. So just so that you guys can do your research and look at it as well. So thank you guys for listening. Catch you guys next time.